So today we're gonna be switching over to the ventures. Let's get it set up and get the rest of the measurements, and then we'll test them out and see how they feel. So after measuring everything, the wheelbase on the Ventures sits about 1 millimeter taller than the Thunders. Their wheelbase offset is a little bit longer, meaning it's gonna have a longer true wheelbase than the pair of Thunders. With their geometry, the hanger is pushed back further than the Thunders, meaning wheels are gonna slide up against ledges a little less. The pop is definitely gonna feel a bit more lofty, I think, and I think I'm gonna have definitely a harder time with flip tricks. Now, I usually don't tighten my trucks immediately when I'm switching to a fresh pair. I usually give them a couple of sessions to break the bushings in, and then I'll tighten them to where I like. Out of the box, they don't feel terrible. I definitely would be able to skate normally. Looking back at all those clips, I didn't like almost any of them. There was definitely some weirdnesses with these Ventures that I really needed to figure out. It kind of took me a few sessions. This first session really kind of highlights some of the issues that I have with my flip tricks, and specifically lately I've noticed that I have a really hard time doing just straight tricks, probably because I wasn't able to kickflip for like a whole month, but my kickflip variations are terrible right now. I wouldn't say I necessarily did any of them terribly. Definitely some weirdnesses with all of the tricks that I needed to figure out. I think the only thing that I ended up doing well was the tray flip. I was also switching between the nose and the tail to really kind of gauge which side of the board I liked better, because typically when I start skating a normal popsicle, I tend to favor the nose. But the whole point of this was I was switching to Ventures, right? I happened to switch to a new board at the same time. I was trying to get a feel for both of them at the same time, and I think that's where some of the issues might be coming from. But all in all, I would say I've figured them out since then. Now I wanted to show that section just simply because it kind of shows some of the difficulties I was having with the more spinny stuff. Now I think the biggest reason why I was having more difficulty with the spinny stuff is because of the longer wheelbase. I've been skating Thunders for a while, and the Ventures have a longer wheelbase, like a true wheelbase, meaning axle to axle. I noticed that I was having a lot of issues like really spinning some stuff around because I don't know, I felt like the middle of my board just didn't want to move, like in between the trucks just didn't want to move at all. It was a lot harder to get around. I had to throw a lot more power into it. Now I've known for a while that I'm kind of one that likes a smaller wheelbase, but good enough feeling with pinch and grinds and slides definitely will make me rethink that. I don't know. That felt good. Even with that much of a dip? So after you've seen some of those, first thing I want to talk about is the fact that the wheels rub up against the ledges or rails a lot less. As you can see in this clip, it's a lot more pushed back. So the trucks are like, they're further apart, but they're also not as pushed out like this, which makes slide tricks a bit easier. They feel really smooth and they like just go. The pinch for crooks and any other pinchy trick that I've done with this so far, I've had more than just this session that you're seeing. All of the pinchy tricks I've done so far have been really, really good. They feel really good. They lock hard, but they don't lock like that extra 3 degrees like a Thunder feels like it locks. But you're definitely more parallel, but it feels really smooth and natural. Versus a Thunder where it kind of feels like, oh, I kind of feel like I'm way too far out, but I don't know. Definitely something that we could compare a little bit more in depth in the future. Another thing, the kingpin clearance is really, really good on these. I have dipped my Smiths as far as I can dip them, and I've only stuck on one rail with these trucks so far with the Smith, and even then it was kind of not really that big a deal. It kind of stuck, and then the next try it was like, I powered through it. Not nearly as harsh of a kingpin bite as, say, a pair of Indies. So all in all, what do I think of the trucks so far? I definitely see why a lot of people like these trucks. The pinch feels really good, has a slightly wider wheelbase. Some people are into that. And there's a lot of, the one thing I can't quite get over yet is the bushings. The bushings feel a little weird and wonky. I'm hoping that that'll go away with time. I am gonna give these trucks a little bit of time, like probably a month or two, to really kind of get into my process and kind of figure the trucks out before I make like a final decision of what I'm gonna skate. But so far, I think the Ventures are great. I think they definitely solve a problem for some people, and I know there's a couple different kinds of Ventures, and that's the thing with trucks is I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to try all of them because I'll drive myself insane because I already get way too into the madness stuff. So I kind of want to just pick one of the main few and go with it. And right now it's starting to look like I'm still thinking Thunders or Indies, and I'm gonna have to skate the Thunders and Indies back to back to really kind of gauge. But the Ventures are definitely up there, and I like certain aspects about them. And I think that's really what it comes down to. There's certain good things and bad things about each truck that you just kind of have to go through and remember. And it's been a long time since I've skated all these different brands. So going through and remembering is kind of cool because I forgot what a Thunder pinch felt like. I forgot what Ventures feel like. I've forgotten a lot of things. Anyway, thanks for sitting here and listening to my rambling. If you made it this far into the video, drop me a like, drop me a sub. It really helps out a lot. And enjoy this final session where I'm actually starting to kind of get to where I was again since my foot injury problems.